In this movie, we learn about a war between humans and robots. The war caused so much destruction that it completely changed the Earth, making it nearly impossible for humans to survive. During this time, an alien-like creature with the power of a tree appeared on Earth. At first, it tried to help fix the planet's environment, but something strange happened. Whenever the alien came into contact with water, it started growing uncontrollably, becoming much larger and more dangerous. Now, humans are facing a serious problem. The alien's rapid growth could cover the entire Earth. The big question is whether humans will find a way to stop the alien or if it will take over the planet. The movie begins with a character named Commando, who reflects on his past with his daughter. As he remembers their time together, he tells us about Earth's situation. Humans created robots to make their lives easier, but the robots rebelled and started a war against humanity. Humans fought back, but the war resulted in widespread destruction, making the Earth uninhabitable. Diseases spread among the population, and tragically, Commando's daughter fell victim to one of these diseases. To escape the devastation caused by the war and the environmental collapse, humans created a system called Skynet, which provided a habitable environment for the survivors. However, their problems only grew when an alien named Pandora arrived on Earth. Pandora's body had the unique ability to help improve the planet's environment, but there was a major catch. Whenever Pandora came into contact with water, its size began to grow uncontrollably. If this continued, it wouldn't be long before Pandora covered the entire Earth. Commando, determined to find a solution, goes to his senior officer John and General Sean to discuss the crisis. There, a girl named Tam reveals that her team has developed a virus that could stop Pandora's growth. If they inject it into Pandora, it will prevent the creature from getting any bigger, which could also help improve the Earth's environment. However, General Sean is hesitant because if the environment improves, the Skynet project would need to be shut down, which would be a huge loss. Sean questions Tam, asking if she has a backup plan in case the mission fails. Tam explains that they will be given 3 hours to try the virus. If they fail, Plan B is to plant a massive bomb inside Pandora, which would destroy more than half of its body. The downside is that the bomb would also kill 160,000 people. But if Pandora continues to grow unchecked, the whole Earth will be at risk of destruction. In the end, Sean reluctantly agrees to proceed, knowing that they have no other choice but to choose between Plan A and Plan B. Tylo and his team set off on their mission, knowing they have to launch a heavy attack on Pandora first. The reason for this is that when Pandora feels threatened, it opens its body to protect its children, creating an opportunity for them to inject the virus inside. This is their only chance to stop Pandora's uncontrollable growth. Before they can begin their assault, Pandora retaliates fiercely, issuing a threatening warning. In the ensuing battle, many soldiers lose their lives, adding tension to the already dire situation. At the same time, a plane carrying the virus is sabotaged. A hacker gains control of a robot on board, causing it to attack a soldier. The soldier tries to defend himself, but the robot removes the pin from a grenade, leading to a massive explosion. The blast causes the plane to crash, and everyone is thrown into panic, believing the mission is doomed. However, Tylo and the rest of the team somehow survive the attack. But just as they think they might have a chance, Pandora strikes again. It shoots down their plane, causing them to lose contact with the rest of the team. Everyone is left fearing that all the members have been killed, and the only option left is to activate Plan B. In a tense moment, John approaches Tam and reminds her of what she had said earlier about the mission timeline. He recalls that they had 3 hours to complete the mission before a storm would hit, causing Pandora to grow even larger. He holds on to the hope that Tylo is still alive and will be able to finish the mission. But if anything happens to Tylo, John insists that he will continue the mission alone. With determination in his eyes, he leaves to find a way to carry on, knowing that the fate of Earth hangs in the balance. John, desperate to find a way to complete the mission, turns to his old friend Skunk. Skunk had been discharged from the army after his fear of dying overwhelmed him, but John knows that Skunk is one of the few who could help him now. He approaches Skunk, urging him to come out of hiding and join the fight. "You can still make a difference," John says. "If you support me, I'll make sure all your needs are met." Skunk, hesitant at first, finally agrees, and the two of them set off together, determined to find Tylo and the rest of the team. Meanwhile, Tylo, along with his friends Lincoln and Connor, have managed to survive the plane crash, but Lincoln is severely injured. Knowing they need medical supplies, Tylo makes the decision to take Lincoln to the nearest hospital. Once there, Tylo tells Connor to stay with Lincoln, reassuring him that he will find the necessary medications. "You need to handle his wounds while I search for what we need," Tylo instructs. sucks. Connor immediately goes to work, using his hands to staunch the bleeding from Lincoln's injuries, hoping to keep him alive until Tylo returns. As Tylo heads deeper into the hospital in search of medicine, he's suddenly attacked by a strange, monstrous creature. A fierce battle ensues, but Tylo manages to defeat it. However, when he returns to check on his friends, he finds that another creature has attacked Lincoln. Despite Connor's best efforts to protect him, Lincoln succumbs to the creature's deadly assault. Heartbroken and terrified, Connor hides, trying to stay out of sight to avoid the same fate. In the midst of this chaos, Tylo encounters a young girl who is also trapped in the hospital. A creature is about to strike her, but Tylo arrives just in time to save her. They quickly form a plan to escape, but as they run through the hospital, the creatures pursue them relentlessly. Just as they near the exit, they are nearly overtaken. But suddenly, John appears, having tracked them down with Skunk. He kills the pursuing creature, giving Tylo and the girl a moment of safety. The group quickly exits the hospital, and John contacts the headquarters to inform them that Tylo and the others are alive. The news is a relief to everyone, and upon hearing it, the decision is made to cancel Plan B. Tylo and the others make their way to the site where the virus had crashed, hoping to recover it and complete their mission. To find the virus, they deploy a drone to search the area, and after some time, the drone locates the virus. Tylo and John quickly make their way to the location, but the structure is unstable and could collapse at any moment. As they get closer, disaster strikes. The virus gets caught on something and falls deep inside the unstable site. Without hesitation, John ties a rope around himself and begins to descend into the dangerous area, relying on Tylo to hold the other end. However, the rope is too short, forcing John to stretch out as far as possible. Using all his strength, he pulls with everything he has, but just as it seems like the rope will break, the pipe it was attached to snaps. In a split second, John manages to grab the virus at the last possible moment, but their success is short-lived as the creatures attacking them appear once again, forcing them to flee. Meanwhile, Connor stumbles across a grenade pin, which shocks him. Even more surprising, he finds Eclipse's pin near a deactivated robot. This discovery baffles him, and as he examines the pin, he decides to remove the chip from his brain, taking it with him to investigate later. He hopes to uncover the mystery behind the grenade pin and where it came from. But just as he's processing what he's found, a car begins to fall toward him, and he's nearly crushed. Thankfully, John and Tylo arrive just in time to pull him to safety. But before they can breathe a sigh of relief, the creatures launch another attack. Skunk, showing surprising courage, steps in to protect the group. He takes action and uses explosives to create a path through the wall, allowing them to escape the creatures. As they make their way out, the entire structure collapses behind them, leaving only dust and rubble in its wake. Connor and the robot examine the chip they recovered from the creature, and after analyzing it, they uncover a shocking revelation. The chip had been tampered with by a hacker, which caused the creature's attack. As they dig deeper into the hack, they discover that the person responsible for sabotaging the mission is none other than General Sean himself. Shocked by the betrayal, John immediately contacts Sean to confront him. "We have evidence that you tried to sabotage this mission," John tells him firmly. Sean, with no intention of hiding his actions, admits it. "Yes, I tried to sabotage the mission," he confesses. "I've invested too much time and effort into building Skynet, and I won't let it be destroyed like this. But you won't be able to stop me now." Sean, confident that he's in control, warns them, "I've already sent special robots to eliminate all of you, and you won't be able to do anything to me. I'm cutting off your contact with headquarters." With those words, Sean severs their connection to the outside world, leaving the team isolated and uncertain about their next move. Meanwhile, Tylo and the others continue their journey, unaware of the danger awaiting them. Suddenly, they are ambushed by robots sent by Sean. The robots begin attacking, firing on the group relentlessly, but the bullets have no effect. The team is outmatched and outgunned as more robots appear, surrounding them and attempting to destroy their vehicle. In a desperate attempt to fight back, Tylo and the others climb on top of the car, using it as cover while engaging in a fierce battle with the robots. But despite their efforts, the robots are far stronger, and the group struggles to defeat them quickly. The situation grows even more dire when a robot fires a missile directly at their car. By some miracle, the team manages to avoid the explosion, but the bridge ahead of them collapses, creating a deadly gap between them and safety. With no other option, Tylo accelerates the car, racing at full speed to leap across the broken bridge. They make it to the other side just in time, but their relief is short-lived. A robot grabs the car from behind, trying to drag it off the edge of the bridge and into the chasm below. Tylo and the others fight with all their might, but the robot's strength proves overwhelming. As the robot continues to push the car toward the edge, John realizes that time is running out. He hands the virus to Tylo, urging him to finish the mission. "We don't have much time left," John says, his voice urgent. If we don't succeed, they'll initiate Plan B. You have to complete this mission. It's up to you now. With those words, John exits the car and climbs under the robot's back, determined to help in any way he can. Tylo reaches out to him, offering a hand to help him back into the safety of the car, but John refuses. I can't let this happen, he says, his voice steady. Just then, John shoots the hand of the robot holding the car, causing it to lose its grip. The car lurches forward, escaping the robot's grasp, but the cost is high. John, unable to hold on, is pulled off the bridge with the robot, falling into the abyss below. Tylo and the rest of the team watch in horror as John disappears from sight. As Tylo and the others continue their mission, they are running out of time. The storm is approaching, and they still haven't been able to contact headquarters. With less than half an hour left before the storm arrives, Tam begins preparing for Plan B, which only adds to the tension and worry among the team. Everyone fears that if they don't succeed soon, the mission will fail, and Plan B will have to be put into action. Meanwhile, Connor's girlfriend discovers that the signal disruption was caused intentionally. Realizing this, she quickly informs Tam about the situation. Tam, in response, asks who turned off the signal, but she remains focused on her work, not realizing the full scope of the sabotage yet. On the other side, Tylo and the team are faced with the formidable robot Tiburai. Time is running out, and there's no longer a chance to insert the virus into Pandora from their current location. The only solution is to create a pit that will allow them to reach Pandora's roots directly. Tylo gives Skunk the task of digging the pit while he prepares to confront Tibura. Before leaving, Tylo tells the young girl who had been with them that he can't bear the thought of leaving her alone. She insists on staying with him, but Tylo reassures her, I couldn't save my daughter, but I promise I won't let anything happen to you. He hides her in a safe spot and runs off to face Tibura. Tylo charges toward the massive robot, determined to stop it. He knows that Tibura has a signal jammer attached to its head, which is why they've been unable to contact headquarters. With great effort, Tylo manages to remove the jammer, restoring their communication with headquarters. The moment the signal is re-established, the team is filled with relief, and they halt Plan B for a while, hoping that they still have a chance to succeed. Back at headquarters, Connor's girlfriend learns the shocking truth. Sean is the one who sabotaged their signal. This revelation stuns everyone. They also discover that Sean was the one behind the hack that crashed their plan to disable the robot. The team is in disbelief, struggling to comprehend the depth of Sean's betrayal. Realizing they must confront Sean directly, Tam decides to take action. She goes to Sean and gives him one final chance. Stop Tibura now, she demands, hoping he will reconsider. As more robots, including the powerful Tibura, continue to advance toward Tylo and his team, the situation becomes increasingly dire. With time running out, the team fights back despite the overwhelming odds. But it's clear that they can't hold off the robots for long. Meanwhile, Connor successfully completes the pit, but disaster strikes. Tylo's suit runs out of battery, leaving him vulnerable. A robot takes advantage of this and severely injures him. To make matters worse, Tibura blows up the place where the girl had been hiding, leaving Tylo devastated. He feels like he's failed her, just as he had failed to protect his own daughter. Filled with anger and grief, Tylo retaliates. He destroys the robot in front of him, venting his frustration on the machine. At that moment, Skunk, who had been working on the pit, manages to finish his task. The team takes the machine and aims it at Tibura, causing a massive explosion that disables the robot. Tylo rushes to rescue the girl, who had been fortunate enough to survive thanks to the sound of her voice after falling under the bridge. Seeing her alive brings Tylo a sense of relief, but the storm is fast approaching, and the water from the storm causes Pandora to grow at an alarming rate. If it isn't stopped now, it will consume the entire planet. John, determined to save the Earth, takes the virus and descends into the pit created by Connor. There, he reaches the roots of Pandora and discovers something horrifying: eggs of the creatures that had been attacking them. Realizing what must be done, John throws the virus into the roots. The virus begins to take effect, killing all the creatures inside and halting Pandora's expansion. The team, along with the people at headquarters, rejoices, knowing that they have averted disaster. When Tam confronts Sean, telling him he's been defeated, Sean shockingly shoots himself, ending his own life. The weight of his actions is a bitter reminder of the lengths he was willing to go to protect Skynet. 1 week later, the Earth has begun to heal. Pandora has grown so large that it no longer poses a threat, and its environmental improvements have made Earth habitable again. The people no longer need to rely on Skynet to survive. In the final scene, Tylo and his companions are aboard a spaceship heading to the moon. They've received strange signals from there, hinting at a new adventure. The movie ends on this mysterious note, suggesting that more parts of the story will follow. The video wraps up with the narrator thanking viewers and encouraging them to like and subscribe, promising more explanations in the future. If you enjoyed the explanation, be sure to leave a like and comment your thoughts. See you in the next entertaining video.